Wisconsin's newly elected Democratic State Supreme Court Justice, Janet Protasiewicz, has yet to hear a case, and Republican lawmakers are already looking to remove her from the bench. Yes, impeachment is being thrown around already. The GOP-controlled legislature, using some of her words from the campaign against her, now saying she needs to at least recuse herself from a critical redistricting case that could determine many rules around the 2024 presidential election in that battleground state, and an issue that she was very vocal about during the campaign, which she won.
When we say that the maps are rigged, those maps are rigged. I don't think you could sell to any reasonable person, after they know the facts, any other conclusion. And I believe that our maps are rigged. I mean, I've said before, I don't think you could convince anybody that those maps are fair.
Now, because of what she said on the campaign trail, GOP lawmakers are alleging that Protasiewicz has prejudged the redistricting cases pending before the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Isn't this the reality of electing judges? They pick a party and they run on a platform. They talk about issues important to their communities. She released a letter yesterday from the Wisconsin Judicial Commission informing her that, quote, several complaints regarding comments she had made during the campaign had been dismissed by a state judiciary disciplinary panel without action. The judge has sent the commission's order to attorneys in the redistricting case, ordering them to respond by September 18th on how it affects the request that she recuse herself from the lawsuits. But the Republicans are digging in. A GOP Assembly Speaker, Robin Vos, sending us this statement. All this does is prove that Justice Protasiewicz and the Democratic Party are one and the same. Timing of yesterday's order from the Justice and the Democrats' Party, immediate press conference announcing $4 million in attack ads supporting the Justice's involvement is further indication of coordination between the two. We fully expect Justice Protasiewicz, notice I've been trying to minimize saying that name too many times, will recuse herself from handling a case where she has pre-decided the outcome and the Democrat Party is fully involved. That $4 million on top of nearly 10 million Democrats invested in getting her elected. This new effort will include digital and TV ads, in-person voter outreach, and this website tracking where exactly every Republican lawmaker in the state stands on impeaching her. Now, the Wisconsin Constitution limits the reasons to impeach a sitting office holder, saying that impeachment is intended for, quote, corrupt conduct in office or for the commission of a crime or misdemeanor. So how can her conduct in office be corrupt if she hasn't done anything yet? The Wisconsin legislature has voted only once to impeach a state judge who was alleged to have accepted bribes and heard the cases where he had financial interest. That was in 1853. It takes a majority vote in the Assembly to impeach, a two-thirds majority of 22 votes in the Senate to convict. In theory, Republicans have enough votes in both chambers to impeach and convict. If they do, the judge would be barred from any duties as a justice until the Senate acted. That could effectively stop her from voting on the redistricting without removing her from office. The state voted to convict and remove her before December 1st. The state's Democratic governor would name a replacement who would face voters next April. Joining me now, Dan O'Donnell. He's the Wisconsin conservative radio host of the Dan O'Donnell Show. He broke the story of the Wisconsin Republicans seriously considering the impeachment of the justice. He's also a former legal correspondent. Thanks a lot for coming on the program. Appreciate it. How likely is this to happen? At least let's start in the House, that she could actually get impeached.
Well, I think it's more likely now that Democrats announced the $4 million ad campaign to try to stop them. They're almost forced to dig in their heels, because if they don't, they look as though they've been intimidated by the Democratic Party and $3 million worth of dark money that they have been essentially fighting, they say, since Janet Protasiewicz was first named as the candidate on the liberal side to run for the state Supreme Court. I honestly think, Dan, that this is a lot more likely than it was just 24 hours ago. That said, probably a 50% chance at best. It doesn't sound like the Assembly Speaker, Robin Vos, is really totally behind this effort because, as you said, there's really no way that this conduct meets the standard that's laid out in our Constitution.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.